morning all, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I need to put my tea in a cup though, because I just do not have the time to drink this. I didn't film this before I left, but we're going for a hack and chat with somebody new, but I'm also going to do a bit of a get to know me. I think it's like 296 ml, so it's less than a can of Coke. It is another freezing day. How glittery it looks, so sparkly. The person I'm hiking with today has just bought a horse from my yard owner because she produces show jumpers, and they've asked if I will go for a hack with them, which is really exciting, so I'm really looking forward to it. I just need everything to defrost so I can actually get there. I'm gonna go and grab some fuel and then head there. At the moment I'm not actually working a lot because I've got my bar exams coming up, so I've tried to save up to take the time off, so I'm actually like super tired. So even though I'm not working a lot, I am working a lot, if that makes sense. I'll have to work on my business. I'm still making content because content also makes me money, and obviously want to continue sharing the journey anyway. I'm really excited for 2025 on my channel. It's just hard to find the time sometimes. So hi, I'm Sam. I am a TikToker, but I'm not just a TikToker. I run an events business where I do event planning, hosting, and mostly decorating. We do everything from a single balloon all the way to large balls and weddings. I specialize in customization, so a lot of what we do is bespoke. In fact, nearly all of it's bespoke. Because of that, we do end up with quite quirky jobs. So I work with quite a few celebrities. Most notorious for me on YouTube is Mrwhosetheboss. He's a tech reviewer. We did a lot of work for him because he was about to surpass Apple in the number of subscribers. So that was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had because it was so time sensitive, because they wanted everything up for the exact moment they hit the number of subscribers. They weren't entirely sure what day or what hour, what minute that would happen, and they were wanting to film lots of different pieces of content. So with us doing organic balloon displays especially, it's really hard to put that up when they want it outside in a large open space where the weather can dictate a lot for us. So yeah, I don't have a very normal life, if I'm honest. See if we can play the game. We're going 35, let's see. 3, 4. Oh. Say hey, Kazine. Oh, she's so cute. I love her face. Black bins. His arch nemesis in life is bin day. Let her come next to us. There you go. Oh, is it your shadow? She's like, Mum, I have a shadow.
Yeah, I noticed that in the school the other day. She was a little bit looking at the shadow.
And we are back. Hey, Mr. Earl. Hello. Good boy. So we're back home now, and I thought I'd let you guys get to know us a bit more, because there's a lot on TikTok that you guys don't see. It's hard with TikTok because everything's so fast-paced, everything's so short, and it's nice to be able to come over here and not reinvent ourselves, because obviously that is who we are, but also show some other sides to ourselves that isn't necessarily shown on TikTok. I noticed that every time I meet someone in the equestrian space, when they like find out bits about me, and they always say, how do we not know all of this? And I just think like, oh yeah, I guess I just don't talk about it on TikTok. It's just that I'm a very ambitious person. I'm not afraid of change, and I know what I want, and so I give my all in every bucket of my life. So we have the equestrian side, which is obviously what I focus on TikTok. I mentioned earlier that I have a business. I've been running that coming up to 4 years now. I can't believe it. My business will turn 4 in June. I will have owned Earl since March 27th, I believe, is the day that I bought him 4 years ago. As you can see, I have 2 dogs. This is little Pickles. He's a nearly 8-month-old Vizsla. He's our little baby. We weren't expecting to get another dog. We did think about it though, because our other dog Sooty is getting a bit older now, and we just wanted him to teach a baby everything he knows, because Sutter's just the best family dog you could ever ask for. And so far, Sutter's doing an amazing job at that, isn't he, Pickles? Even though Pickles has to be sat here like a little baby He sits like a human half the time. Sometimes I'm like, please Pickles, just leave me alone. Why do you have to be on me? And then other times I'm like, no, be on me. I think it's so cute. So what else can I tell you? See behind me here, whoa, these are flight maps from all over the world. Those flight maps mean the world to me, but they're worthless to like everyone else. They are just flight maps from when I was a flight attendant. I've got loads of them. I used to collect them because I actually love flying and I love traveling. They are two things that I don't really talk about on TikTok either. There's so many things I don't talk about on TikTok. But yeah, I used to be a flight attendant for British Airways. I used to work in first class and it was my favourite place to be and I loved the lifestyle. It was the best job I've ever had, definitely. And I do miss it at times. There are times where I've thought about becoming a flight attendant again, but I really like my lifestyle now and I actually want to become a barrister. So after being a flight attendant, I actually went into prestige sales, working in the motor trade for BMW and Mini. It was an amazing experience, definitely learnt so much, especially about sales, marketing, prestige sales, and of course customer service too. The brand BMW and Mini are fantastic. Can't fault them as a brand and they make brilliant cars. I just absorbed everything. I absolutely love learning. If there's anything that I can learn, I'll just do anything I can. Pickles, how are you laid on me? You're crazy. Look how he's like holding on to me with his front paws. Yeah, go over there. This puppy man, he is so annoying, aren't you? But we love you. We love you. He's so cute at the same time as being really annoying. So what else about me? I've got a 6-year-old daughter named Nyla. I do not show her on the internet. Sometimes I do show her in my videos, but I never show her face. That's a personal choice. I just personally believe that she's not of an age that she can choose to have a digital footprint, and I believe in safeguarding kids on the internet. The internet is probably the most public place you could put yourself, your face, anything like that. And I really think it's important for children to be of a mature enough age to make that decision to be on the internet, to understand what they're putting out there and why it will always be there, and the risks that are posed with posting yourself online. There is a proportion of my audience on TikTok that are very young, and I'm always mindful of that the younger generations are always watching our content, and I want to be a good role model to them. So what else about me? I have a fiance, his name is Josh. He is not horsey at all, and Earl knows it. It's hilarious. Whenever I hand Josh the lead rope, Earl just walks off with him. He is getting better now because Josh is slowly learning the ropes, but it is very funny. We've been engaged for many years. We do plan on getting married eventually. We just have other things to focus on at the moment. He will never live down the fact that he calls saddle pads mats, like car mats. And once he was actually helping me tack up and I turned around and the saddle was the entirely wrong way round, and I laughed because I thought it was a joke, but he was being deadly serious and he thought that's how it went on. Not just the saddle pad, the entire saddle. He also tried to do the girth up once and only did it one strap. He tries to say that he didn't know which one to put it on, but you're meant to connect both. So he couldn't really wriggle out of it, but it was really funny. A few other basic things that most people probably should know about me. I'm originally from South Africa. I moved to England when I was nearly 9, and now I live in a place called Chesterfield in Derbyshire. A lot of people have been asking for the story of how I met Earl, how I came to own him, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. It is a story in itself that should be told to prospective new horse owners. Mostly to tell you, here's not what to do. And it is funny because everybody loves Earl. I love Earl. He's my best friend, other than my child, obviously. But it still makes me laugh because if someone came to me with a horse like Earl for their first horse, I would tell them, steer clear, don't do it. However, on the flip side, I have been extremely lucky along the way and been able to avoid injuries and things like that for either one of us. I've learned a lot, but I've also taken steps where I need to and made sure that I have the support by working really hard to enable me to afford the support. And I always bought my horse with the intention to have support. A few facts about my equestrian life. I started riding when I first moved to England. My mom got us into it because she enjoyed riding, so that was her fault. Thanks, Mom, for this really expensive hobby. Just learned to ride in riding schools and just rode people's naughty ponies, to be honest. I wasn't very good. I never competed. I loved horses and I always wanted my own, but our parents always said no because of the cost of vet bills, which I completely understand why now that I'm an adult. Some may say I'm not a real equestrian. and they're kind of right. I don't muck out my own horse, and that's because I'm on full livery, and I always have been since buying Earl. I knew that by buying a horse like him and over-horsing myself, I was going to need professional help. The other reasons that Earl is on full livery is that I run my business to have a full-time income. I do the bar course full-time. I do all of the outside law opportunities, which takes up a lot of time as well. And then obviously I actually want to have time with my horse. Then you add on the fact that Earl actually needs full livery because he needs to be in that competition lifestyle where he has his routine and what works for him. He's seen to every day at the same times, etc., etc., and that is his best life. All those things together are actually why I'm on full livery. I've actually been on 2 other yards other than the one that I'm on now, so this is my 3rd yard. And I've only owned my horse for nearly 4 years. But owning a horse opened my eyes to what horse people are really like. When I was a child, I was just there having a good time. I liked everybody that I rode with. Everyone who I knew with a horse was really nice. And I never saw the equestrian space as it is because I never competed, and I think a lot of it comes from that. Pickles. I do feel like a lot of the toxicity comes from the other side of it all. Or maybe I was just a naive child and I did not notice. I guess that's a wider discussion to be had. But even though he was an absolute challenge because I didn't realise how much I'd overhorse myself, in that first year I had a steep learning curve, but I saw a lot of what the equestrian industry can be like and how people treat their own horses. People treated my horse, which was horrible. There were times when I first had Earl that I thought, if I didn't love this horse, I would sell him and never have a horse because of the people. It wasn't because of Earl. Over time and going on from that, some people you think are nice turn out not to be nice. Some people you see having like some drama and you think maybe they're the problem. It turns out they're not the problem. You know, there's a lot that goes on in the horse world and people are very highly emotional. I think as well there's a lot of young people in the industry who aren't necessarily used to running businesses. But I do definitely see that a lot of equestrian businesses are not run like normal businesses. Like, there's zero customer service, there's zero formality. There's just so many unwritten rules that people don't even talk about, and I find it very interesting now that especially I do law. When I look back at it all, the equestrian community that I started to create on TikTok really was born out of the fact that I didn't have one in real life. When I first had Earl, I found it really difficult to make like horsey friends, but a lot of that came down to the fact that I was really nervous and I was really scared, and it was almost like I was a complete novice. I remember getting on Earl for the first time alone in the school to school him, and I was just shaking, trembling, and that wasn't a normal feeling. When I remember back to being a child and riding, I never remember feeling scared to get on a horse. And even when I viewed horses, I didn't feel like that. The only thing I can relate it to is when you take your child home for the first time when you have a baby, and it's like, whoa, I'm responsible for this, and it's terrifying. And that is what it felt like getting Earl. Like, he's huge. I've overhorsed myself. He's very expensive. To keep him alive is very expensive. To learn the ropes and make sure that I can actually ride him is going to be really expensive. And I was so scared to hurt myself. My whole life would fall apart if I hurt myself. So it was a very, very eye-opening experience buying a horse. Lots of people ask me, how do I contend with my nerves and riding as well as having a child? It's really hard to deal with those nerves because every time you get on your horse, you have to think about the fact that anything can happen. So I can totally relate to anybody who ever feels nervous, because all that's in the back of my mind is, I'm self-employed, I have a child, I need to provide, I have a mortgage to pay. And even if anything happens to me, I need to pay Earl's bills. I need to pay for my dogs. You know, it's not just about having a child. I'll be honest, I was probably ignorant to those feelings before having a child. So it's okay if you don't have children and you just don't relate to it. When you're a child or even a teenager or even in your 20s, you feel invincible. And then as you get through life and have a few life experiences, you realise you're not. So how do I overcome those nerves? It took miles in the saddle, building the trust with Earl. I had to learn Earl and Earl had to learn me, and it took me 3 years to get there. You've got to find your person. You've got to find the trainer that works for you, that is going to get to know you and your horse. You can't just keep going and getting one lesson here, one lesson there with lots of different people. As much as that is good and it's good for experiences, you need like your home person. And my person's Claire. She has seen me at my worst and at my best, and she's the reason that I can have Earl. Ultimately, she's the reason that I can get around a course, go double clear. She's worked with me and taught me everything. Aside from that, there's a lot of independent learning. I read books, watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, sign up to monthly memberships to do with performance training and things like that, so that I can be exposed to those professionals that can teach me the ways, whether that is rider nutrition, fitness, horse fitness, learning to events. You'll always find in the equestrian industry the people who are doing so much better, the professionals, and anybody who takes it seriously. They will never judge you. Just last night I was on a call learning about planning for the season. The thing is, I was probably the most inexperienced person on that call. I was so scared to ask a question because people were talking about like stepping up to 1-star or advanced or intermediate. I'm over here like thinking about stepping up to 90. I was so frightened to just ask, where would you recommend is a good venue to step up to 90? And they talked about making sure that you've got your studs. And I popped in a question and just said, please, could I ask, when are studs needed? And my horse is only shod on the fronts. Should he be shod on the back as well? Should you be studded up on both? I don't know how it works. And they answered without making me feel ashamed. And to them, it's not stupid. To them, they can see that you're eager and willing to learn. And they know that once upon a time, they were in your shoes. They'll never judge you. It's the people that only care about their image and their ego that will look down on you for asking silly questions like that. My advice, if ever you do come across somebody who is kind of picking on you for asking silly questions, asking why, because I ask why all the time. And some people have said to me previously, oh, you just ask too many questions. And I'm okay with that. I'm asking questions because I want to learn. But if ever you find yourself being ridiculed by somebody, just ask them randomly a question of why. I've also found is a lot of those people don't actually know a lot. I did event Earl 2 years ago now, but it was just once throughout the season. And last year, I only evented twice. I did do some show jumping as well. Whereas this year, I'm hoping to do a bit more of both and even some dressage tests. Is everyone in my family horsey? No. My sister's horsey, her kids are horsey. My mom likes horses and was interested in riding, but she wasn't a competitive rider or anything like that. When it comes to eventing, I have to learn everything for myself because I don't know many eventers. And I have learned a lot that I want to share with other people, which is why I want to keep my content free, because I wasn't from a place where I could afford it all. And so I don't want to put a charge on that for people to learn about looking after their horses, about buying their first horse, about getting into eventing and trying to do it, because it's expensive enough without me being like, pay for this subscription. There's a lot of people online now doing these subscription services through TikTok, through YouTube, through everywhere. Like they're on Instagram now. There's so many, and I'm trying to stay away from it, although I'm also really needing to make money. So I find it really hard to weigh up doing those opportunities where I could make a bit of money, because a lot of people tell me that they would pay for it. But in my heart of heart, I know for me personally, to get through this, I've had to rely on a lot of information that I could get for free. I've then had to pay for experiences to learn more. And I really want to share that with people so that I can help people along that journey who couldn't necessarily afford it. With that in mind, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Sam from Sam and Earl of TikTok. I've been sharing my journey to eventing for nearly 4 years online on TikTok. But I'm over here on YouTube because I want to share more about my life, because I'm not just an equestrian, which is what I want to show on this YouTube channel too. So I've just fetched my daughter from school, so that's all we have time for. I hope you guys have enjoyed spending the day with me. So please make sure that you like and subscribe and leave any questions that you have in the comments.